Monty Poole, Joyce Steiny, and Goo yesterday. Lubman brought this cut up on the show call yesterday, so I'll play it. Will it be a failure if the Warriors lose in the first round? Of course it would be.
To me, if they lose, this season has been a disaster. Everything from the Chris Paul acquisition was all about the postseason. They didn't bring in Chris Paul because they wanted to win 55 games. They brought in Chris Paul so that when we get to the postseason, we have a guy on our bench who can lead our bench crew that's reliable, low turnover guy, high assist guy, an orchestrator, an organizer. And so if they're one and done, that's a colossal failure. To me, they got to get through at least 2 games. And I know the second game's going to be a lot tougher. But if they don't, to me it says, okay, guys, it's time to start turning the page.
Even if the Warriors do get through these 2 games, and say they lose in the first round of Oklahoma City, would that still be deemed as a failure in your opinion? To me, that would be a failure.
So well, anything short of what? Western Conference Finals?
Yeah, at least got to make a run and push the second round series deep into the second round. Losing the second round of 6-7 games, okay, it's not necessarily a success, but it's not a total failure. If you get what I'm saying.
No, I do.
You know what I'm saying? You get back to the point you were at last year, and depending on how the games look, you're like, all right, considering what the roster looked like and how old they were, I can live with that. If they lose, they don't even make the first round. And if they lose in the first round, to me, that's a colossal disappointment.
Well, but why? Okay.
Why?
Are you going back to the before the season started expectations?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? Because everything that we've watched 5 months.
But not only that, it's also what the players have said and what the coach has said. Steve Kerr said over and over, I believe we can make some noise. Draymond Green, we don't fear anybody. Stephen Curry, we just want a shot. Klay Thompson, we just want a shot.
Well, we just want a shot is different from we have a championship core that can make a run. And I expect the coach to make statements like that. I'm not mad at Steve Kerr for having faith. What's he supposed to say? Hey, we're doomed? You know, I expect that kind of stuff. And why would they, in their own minds, why would they ever admit defeat like that out loud?
They shouldn't admit defeat. But when you look at the payroll and you look at the roster and you look at the players, and I get what the Western Conference looks like now.
Yeah.
It's still a disappointment when you pay this much money for a roster.
Yes, going back to the preseason and before the season started, expectations, there's no doubt. And given the tax bill, absolutely. And so to me, when he says, turn the page, I don't know what he means by turn the page, Monty Poole. And I would like to have maybe an elaboration on that. Does he mean, because Steve Kerr's here for the next 2 years. Steph Curry's here for the next 2 years. Draymond the next 3. Turn the page means major changes, end the entire era. I don't think Warrior fans are ready for that. I think retool or, completely reimagine the team around Steph Curry. I'm here for that. I mean, turn the page means end this run and trade Steph? No, I don't think anyone's ready for that. I'm not.
Monty Poole did say that the dynasty ended back in 2019. I want to hear this cut.
Let's not get into the dynasty talk because the dynasty is already over. That ended in 2019. Yeah, they won a championship since, but dynasties sort of implies that you are winning. You're in the thick of it every single year, like the Spurs were. They didn't win, 20 championships, but they were a dangerous team for all those years. So I think what's at stake for the Warriors is that they got to figure out who they are as a team. 82 games usually is enough to figure that out, but in this instance, it's not.
Yeah, which is wild. We still don't know who the Warriors are. We still don't know who they are. They've had a good run to end the season. Obviously, 17-4 in their last 21 road games, but I'm kind of with Monty. I still don't know who they are, which is why I expect the unexpected tonight. No result would surprise me. Honestly, if they win by 10, wouldn't surprise me. If they win by 5, wouldn't surprise me. If they lost by 5, wouldn't surprise me. If they lost by 10 or more, wouldn't surprise me. Nothing would surprise me with this basketball team with what I've seen over the first 82 games of the season. Just wouldn't.
There are some scenarios in my mind that would surprise me.
Like what?
Ejections and things like that.
No, I'm just talking about results, win-losses. The result of the game.
They've lost some pretty wild
You're worried
ways
about Draymond Green getting ejected? I'm not worried about that.
It's a one game.
I'm not worried about Draymond
Anything can happen,
ejected. I'm not worried about him getting
You can
ejected.
have guys foul out. I mean, like in these one-game scenarios, anything can happen.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
That's all. I mean,
I'm saying nothing would surprise me though.
But doesn't okay?
So ejections would surprise you?
Yeah. Every time something like that happens, like, yes, I get surprised. Situational basketball, 30 seconds to go, not hitting a bucket, not fouling a guy when you're up 3. I mean, they've lost in every way.
Right, which is why nothing would surprise me.
Fouling a guy, he hits both free throws, he goes to overtime, they lose anyway.
No, an ejection would surprise me in this instance.
Okay.
I would be shocked if Draymond Green got ejected from this basketball game. Shocked. I don't think he's going to get ejected. Come on. I'm not even back in. If that happens, then we're having a different conversation tomorrow. I don't know.
I don't think people are prepared. If this is Klay's last game, I don't think people are prepared for that. 12, 13 years? I don't think people are prepared for that. I think people talk about it, and then you get right up to it, and then, I don't know, man.
Well, no, I mean, from doing all the talking we've done the last 2 years, I think a lot of people are ready for that. I think a lot of people are ready for change. I do. I really do. I think you brought it up about a month ago, that you just want something new, that you want to reset, maybe. And maybe it's time to reset. I think a lot of people want that. I don't know. Here's Ramona Shelburne on Willard and Dibs. Let's talk about the Warriors and what they will do this offseason, especially if they lose early on in the playoffs or the play-in tournament.
I'm curious about whether they take a big swing, because they certainly have the ammo to do it. They have the draft picks, they have young players, they have a couple contracts they could trade, and there's some very interesting trade candidates out there. Like, they are always in the market for stars. There are going to be some stars this summer that might be available. I'm thinking more front court rather than back court, because you already have Steph and Klay. I assume Klay Thompson will figure something out. I just can't see the Warriors without him. But yeah, I could be wrong. Maybe Orlando throws a bag at him. I don't know. I think Klay stays. And then the big question is Chris Paul. Like, Chris Paul's been great for them when he's been healthy. I know they really like him. If he comes back, how does he come back? You know, does he come back with the contract he's under? You know, do they renegotiate something? Is there an opportunity to get him for a lesser cost? Like, what would he think of that? Does he have a market elsewhere? Like, that's all. Those are the two that I have the biggest questions about. Like, what do they do going forward? But to me, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they go big game hunting again.
Some front court stars might be available. Do tell. We want names.
I know you do. I'm gonna let that one sit. You're gonna have to figure that out. You're gonna have to figure that one out.
Well,
but one of them we've already reported on. One of them they tried to get LeBron at the deadline.
So that's what may happen in the offseason. But can you hold off the offseason for a couple games? Can you win this game tonight? On paper, I think the Warriors are going to win. I do. But I thought that a lot this season on paper, that the Warriors are going to win a lot of basketball games. They're going to win Friday against New Orleans.
Is this a game where you employ more or less of the pick and roll that they've started to employ more of in the last month?
I think you get away with read and react in this system, but I do love me a good high ball screen.
Yeah.
I do love me some high ball screens and mix that up. Because one thing against New Orleans, what they did, that New Orleans did a great job of, is getting to the passing lanes, deflecting passes,
blitzing Steph at the top of the key,
doubling him, and again, making him work offensively to where you don't get into your sets until there's about 16, 15 seconds left on the shot clock. That's a big deal. And then you're disrupting the rhythm of that read and react offense. So I don't mind some high ball screens, especially if you get Steph on Sabonis. You get Steph on the HB. I love those matchups.
Well, HB is someone we haven't talked about. The last time they played, he went crazy.
39 points.
You gotta think that. I mean, that you want to talk about surprising results. That surprised me.
He'll
like
be
the
motivated.
game of his life.
He'll be fired up tonight, because what if he does get that matchup again against Klay Thompson? Harrison Barnes feels really good against Klay Thompson.
Well, he kept backing him down, and then he took him outside. And I mean, yeah, you're right. He does like that matchup. I feel like Klay's a better defender though this time around. Like 3 months ago, he wasn't playing the greatest defense. I feel like he is actually playing good defense, and I think having TJD underneath has actually really helped him.
Yeah, no, he's in a better headspace too.
Yes.
During that last time against the Kings, Klay was all over the place mentally. Now he's back. Now he's in a great headspace. So I do expect him to. But who else is going to step up and say, that's why I got the Warriors winning this game. You know Fox is going to get his, but if you make Fox work, you can make him a high-volume shooter. Sabonis, I think Draymond and Looney got Sabonis in their back pocket. I really do. It's Sabonis. Nobody's worried about him down here. I'm not.
Well, I worry about him getting the bigs in foul trouble. So, yeah, I do worry about it.
Well, I don't. I mean, he may get some fluky calls. They're already complaining about the referees up there. Maybe some cheap ones. But you got TJD, Looney. And if you need to burn some fouls with Sarge, you got Sarge to do that. You got 18 fouls between the three guys. I'm not really worried about Sabonis. But those other guys, the ancillary pieces, is Trey Lyles, is Davion Mitchell, is Keon Ellis, who, I'm telling you, Keon Ellis is a good player. I like Keon Ellis a lot. I do. And then Keegan Murray. Like, their ancillary pieces. Are they going to go crazy at home? Because they always say role players play better at home.
I mean, Trey Lyles, like I worry about him. He's had a couple of good games against the Warriors where he hits from the outside and then he starts attacking the hoop. He gets kind of nasty underneath. I think he's a guy that they need to have an off night against. But not having Malik Monk was the guy I feared the most because he was instant points. There was a swagger and a confidence. Right. He would hit from the outside. He'd attack. He'd get a lot of and ones. I mean, he was really good against the Warriors every time. And they held him in check early on, but it felt like he had figured something out.
No, Monk's tough. It's a big loss for them. Hell, if they have Malik Monk, they're probably not even in play-in. Warriors are probably playing the Lakers or the Pelicans or the Suns.
Well, I'm interested about that Pelicans-Lakers game before. I want to see how that one plays out.
You think LeBron's going to play chess and try to avoid the Denver Nuggets? I don't see that happening.
I think that's poor karma.
You think that they would actually go out there and do that?
No, I don't. And I think people
also just doesn't make sense when you've lost like 8 straight to Sacramento and Sabonis just owns that matchup. And you've lost 3 straight to the Warriors. Why would you want to do that?
And why would you want to play an extra game?
Exactly. It just makes
the part
zero
that
sense.
To me, the competitor in you, why would you want to play? Why would you want to flirt with that?
Well, and if Anthony Davis, and all reports he's probably going to play today, if he's relatively healthy and LeBron's relatively healthy, do it in the first round against the Nuggets.
Is he on the injury report?
The back.
Well, he had spasms. He left the game. Because Larry Nance, did you watch the game at all? Larry Nance shoved him when he was going up at the end of the game, kind of. AG thought it was dirty. But
when did he leave the game? The game was out of hand, right?
Yeah.
Like last 6 minutes, he walked off of the game time, not like the end of the game.
Yeah, back.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, AD.
My back and my eye.
Come on, AD. Come on, man. So LeBron's playing chess. He wouldn't do that. I don't think he'd do that. Take a game.
Also, less rest after that.
Right.
Well, yeah, then you'd go Friday, Sunday.
Yeah, and then go up against one of the most athletic young teams that's fresh.
That's been waiting.
Yes.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. So the Kings, how about this, Shasky? Since March 1st, they have the 3rd best defensive efficiency in the NBA. I can't believe that.
They ended up finishing the season, 16th in defensive rating?
Yeah, but they've
right
been
behind the Warriors.
They've been better since March 1st. February, they were awful.
Well, then let's ask Kenny Caraway exactly why.
Yeah, I think Keon Ellis.
Well, I think
Keon Ellis is a big, big factor here. Nobody's talking about him.
Well, you brought him up for 2 days straight. Yeah, so you're bringing him up.
That's it, though. But nobody nationally. Nobody listens to me, but the folks who people listen to haven't brought him up. I don't think people listen to me when it comes to basketball breakdowns. Just joking, man. We're so serious today. You're nervous. Dude, I can feel your nervous energy from across the room, Shasky. You really can, man.
I am shook.
It's the Warriors, man. We really think you're losing this game? They're not losing this game to Sacramento, man. Come on.
I was worried.
I feel nervous energy, Shasky. We got to get this. Where's my re-wedding at? We got to turn this thing up.
No 10 seed has ever made the playoffs.
We got to turn this up, man. We got to turn this up. Turn this up, man. Come on. This nervous. There's no reason to be nervous. We're not playing.
No reason to be nervous.
We're not playing.
It's a do or die playing game.
Here's how I think about it. Honest to God, here's how I think about it. They win. Oh, it's awesome. We get to talk about one more basketball game. We can talk about how they could play OKC in the first round. Boy, if they lose, then it sets off an all-season full of content galore. We're not going to run out of material when it comes to the Warriors all season.
Wait a minute.
So in terms of our business, It's a win-win situation, folks. They win, great. They lose, well, we know what our show's going to be about for the next month and a half, 2 months.
Giants baseball with Sam Loveman.
No, it won't be that. Nobody's ready. Like, come on, the Warriors are winning tonight. And it